Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we're going to be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Imports. This has been a very hot button issue to some degree over the last couple of days and weeks, and for a very long time in Yu-Gi-Oh's history this has been a problem. But especially now it's become more of a problem actually if you think about it. With the announcement of Link Reigns 2 coming out in the OCG at the end of this year, we find ourselves in this weird quandary of we don't know if we're going to get a Link Reigns 2 or even a Link Reigns pack with all these new Link monsters in it because we didn't get the first one last year when Konami broke it up into all the different sets we've been getting over the course of the last 8 months or so. So I want to talk about this. The fact that it seems like we really need badly a World Superstars number 2. So if you guys don't know what World Superstars is or was, it was a set that came out about 3 years ago. Now World Superstars had nothing but imports really in the set. It was a great set. Pretty much you had things from Korea and Japan, so exclusive cards from Korea and Japan. This is before Paleozoics came out in Korea originally, actually, if you guys didn't know that. But we pretty much got a whole bunch of imports. We got 2 World Prize cards as kind of like promo cards, I guess you could say, in the set. You couldn't use them in duels, but they came in the set. You could pull them, and they look really nice. And I've played with them a couple of times just for some fun when I'm playing Blue Eyes White Dragon with my friends. But for the most part, it was a whole bunch of imports. The bad thing was some of these cards we hadn't gotten in 2+ years, 3 years, some of them even longer than that. But it had things like Neberdisc. If you guys don't know what Neberdisc is, Chronomaly Neberdisc. We had the Star Seraphs come out of this set. And there was some other good cards that came out of here that have seen play here and there or been hyped up here and there throughout the course since that set's come out. But it was just nice to have all these cards just released to us finally. I know so many people were happy about that. Back before this set was released, I was one of the people saying we need a set that is released with just a lot of these OCG imports because it was getting kind of crazy as it is right now for us, where at that time before World Superstars came out there was a big gap in between how many OCG cards we did not have. And after World Superstars, if my memory serves me correctly, I think we were down to only 15 import differences, and I think that was amazing. There was a difference between 15 cards from the OCG and TCG at the time World Superstars was released, and I can't remember how many cards were in the set, but it brought that number way down to that. Compared to now, where I think we're up into 80 or 100 freaking different cards between the OCG and TCG, and it feels like 2 separately played games we're playing right now. To some degree. We don't have a lot of the Link monsters, we don't get these jump promo cards that they always get, and sometimes those can be very good cards that we really need to play in a competitive meta, like Security Dragon. Where is that? It's been out for almost a year. Where is it? When are we going to get it? Oh, when it's no longer good. There's just so many cards that we're just missing, and just cards that we're like, oh, we really want to play this. But it may take 2 years before it even gets here. I really feel like we need a World Superstars number 2. We really need this very badly. Think about it for a second. Imagine we got a set of 60 cards, 70 cards that were OCG imports from Korea and Japan, and we got all those cards, and they included the Link Reigns pack stuff. They included everything. I promise you that set would sell. Imagine if it had Cherubini, it had Needle Fiber, and granted Needle Fiber could be in the tins and things of that nature, or the Aromage Link monster. Imagine if it had all this in that set, and then it even had some of the stuff, some of it from the Link Reigns 2 pack, and it came out maybe in February or March of 2019. Imagine if that happened. I know so many players would go out and buy that set because it would just have so many good things. Now, probably the reason that we haven't seen a World Superstars 2 is because, like I said, after that set initially got released, there was a big discrepancy between the card pool. So why release another set within the next year if there's only a couple cards to make a set? The second reason is a lot of those cards were late to the party. And number three, because that set, from what I've seen, really didn't sell too well. There was a couple of good chase cards, like I mentioned, but for the most part, that set was not selling. It just didn't have a lot of good cards in it, even though they were all holographic, all hollow, and all nice looking. I mean, for casual fans and players that loved certain anime decks and things of that nature and wanted to play around with cards, it was great to have this set imported. But at the same time, it sucked because there wasn't a lot of chase cards. Compared to what the set that had just come out a couple of weeks before that, which everybody was still hyped about, aka Dragons of Legend, which came out not too around that same time, if my memory serves me correctly, which had Mathematician, Fire and Ice Hand, Eye of Timaeus, his fusions, all that stuff came out of that set around that same time, if my memory serves me correctly. So people were more hyped about that than an import set, granted. However, this is what I always say to people of this nature, and this is why I feel there's a big discrepancy between the OCG and TCG, and why I really feel like we're playing two separate games as well. In the OCG, each year they get a set of all of our TCG exclusive cards. A set. So, for example, this time next year, about 8 months from now, 9 months from now, they're going to get all the TCG exclusives for the most part that we have gotten over the last year or so. They will get those. They will get Bigfoot. They will get Nessie. They will get Jackalope. They will get that entire core right away within a year's time or less. Over here in the TCG, we do not get that. It takes years. And the fact that compiled on this, that Konami has cut down the TCG imports we get in main sets to make room for TCG exclusives, which I'm all fine for. Like, I get Noble Knight support. I'm happy with that. I get to have Bigfoot, you know, more cards dedicated to an archetype that's a TCG exclusive. I'm fine with that. I'm happy with that. But it hurts the imports. And even though I understand why Konami cut Link Vrain's Pack 1 open, and they distribute it to all these sets to make money and make them chase cards, that's cool. It's left a bad, sour taste in the players of Yu-Gi-Oh! It really, really has. And this has come to a forefront more so when it's always been a problem for the most part in the TCG. If you just haven't noticed it, it's become more to the forefront because Link Vrains 2 was announced. And we're going, what? Are we going to get these cards? We haven't got everything from Link Vrains 1. When are we going to get this? Like in 3 years from now? 4 years from now? When we're on to another mechanic and these cards become completely obsolete, or we just never get them at all? That's the thing people are wondering. What's going to happen? How is this going to work out? People want to know and want answers. And I think the answer to this is, I think it's about time we have a World Superstars number 2. If it came out at the beginning of next year, maybe some of the cards would be irrelevant to some degree, but at least we have the peace of mind that we get everything. Or we get World Superstars 2, a Link Vrains pack, and we just get all the imports from Link Vrains 2 and Link Vrains 1. The rest of it in that set. That would be cool. But I think to include the Link Vrains pack along with just a whole bunch of imports would be a great idea. And you probably could do it with over the next 2 years and get all those imports in, and we would be good to go. Things would work out so nicely. I just feel that we just need a big import set, or just a year, or once a year we get an import set. Just, it would be so nice, especially if you're cutting down the imports from the main core sets. That is going to have to be something that needs to be addressed, because you're going to get a backlog of stuff. There's only so much that Shonen Jump mangas can put out. You know, they get, what, we get 4 promo cards a year. They have a list that they vote on and things of that nature. That's cool. You can leave some cards away from that. I'm fine with that. But, and I'm sorry for my friends in Europe, you don't get those right away. And I do apologize, aka Link Karibo and other cards out there. But something needs to be done about this. Something. And I think the best answer is we need a World Superstars number 2, or some set of that variation, or some combination. We need to have a set that is literally, regularly, every year, just like we have Battles of Legend the last 2 years, just like we have the Megatons. We get a set of maybe 50 to 60 cards that has a whole bunch of imports from the OCG, because the OCG keeps putting out imports left and right in all these different places. And I promise you, people will want those cards right now. So either every other year or every year there needs to be a set that just has a whole bunch of imports in it. I vehemently agree with people that this needs to be addressed, because it feels like more and more as time goes on and this is not addressed, it feels like we're playing two different games of Yu-Gi-Oh! I look at, you know, different people that do deck profiles of OCG stuff, and I'm like, we don't have that card. We don't have that card. We don't have that card. We don't have that, and we have no idea when any of these bloody cards are going to come out. Their formats are completely defined by cards that we don't have, and they're not in the core sets, and they're not in sets that we are fairly certain we're going to be getting. They're in these offshoot sets, or cards where, like, I don't know when we're going to get this, but it could be 2 years from now, 3 years from now. It could be never, for all I know, and it sucks, and it needs to be addressed. And that's my final verdict. And that's also why I believe we need a World Superstars #2, for that reason. But tell me your thoughts down below. Do you think we need to have like a yearly or bi-yearly set release of just a whole bunch of imports? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And until next time, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling to all of you, and I'll see you guys next time.
Late nights, long fights, it felt right.